how did that turn into our problem, your problem? Because now it's your issue.
It's my problem because I have one sock that's not going to help. What is going on?
I'm Mike.
And I'm Allie, and we welcome you to this week's Conversations with Mike and Allie.
So today we're going to be talking about our online shopping fails. And I think I was not a huge online shopping person prior to the pandemic. I mean, things here and there. And then obviously with the pandemic that changed, and it was a learning curve. You know, you think it's easy, but yet I made some mistakes. How about you?
All right, very similar experience. I'm someone that I like to touch and feel and see, whether it's groceries, especially groceries. It would be like really out of my element to like just pick things and then have them come. I don't love the experience, but I feel like it's a necessary evil to get what I want, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But so obviously the pandemic has changed that. We do, like my husband does it like a ridiculous amount. There's packages just coming and coming and coming. And then we have the Alexa who announces, it's like your package is arriving on November 9th. So, he'll walk into the room and he'll be like, Alexa, where's my stuff? That's all he has to say is, where's my stuff? And then she says, well, you have so-and-so arriving on this date. And it feels like so like robotic and lazy to me, but at the same time, it's convenient. So I have a love-hate relationship, but to be quite honest, usually I don't get what I want and I'm mad.
Same thing. Or I thought I ordered something correctly, and then it comes in the mail, and I'm like, where did this come from? This is not exactly what I thought I was getting.
I can give an example. I like during the pandemic, my husband bought these Q-tips and he thought he was buying these like just like regular advertised Q-tips, and in came flooding like these giant like we will never ever long for a Q-tip for the rest of our lives.
How many packages do you think you got?
Like 6 to 8 giant packages of how many Q-tips do you use like in a week?
Right, it's Q-tips times 2 per day.
Correct. In our case, it's for a lifetime. We have a lifetime supply of Q-tips that we did not anticipate, nor did we didn't check that box. That's not what we were looking for.
I also love this thing that they do, some of these companies, and the biggest one is obvious. But it's like you click on it, you order it, and then a day later, it's like, yeah, that's not happening. It's now delayed. It's now going to be 3.5 weeks from now, even though you were promised delivery, within 24 hours. It's now 3 weeks later.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. My son ordered a Halloween costume. Clearly, it was like time was of the essence. So, and we ordered it like the first week of October because we knew we were already hearing about delays. So at first it said it was arriving like the week of Halloween. Perfect, great. And then we stopped here, like all of a sudden, like the communications like just shut down. So like it's kind of like, well, is it, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, it's coming November 8th. Halloween is October 31st. This costume is they say it's coming now, it's coming November 8th. Help me understand that. I mean, I think they lower the expectations because it did arrive on the Saturday before Halloween.
I agree. I wonder also if they tell you, like, whatever the company is that you're getting it from. You might be getting it through Amazon, but there's a different company maybe that it's coming from. I think they also lie. I think they tell you you're going to get it the next day just to make you click on it, and then the minute you spend the money on it, now you're like Communication goes dark. All of a sudden it's crickets. No one is corresponding until you get that email that says it's now going to be 2 weeks late.
Interesting. I think you're right. Okay, so that's actually a really good point, because had they said this is coming November 8th, it would have been Control Alt Delete. We don't need it November 8th. I'm canceling the order.
That's
I'm
right,
not paying $50 for a Halloween costume
for November 8th.
for November 8th.
And on November 8th, you can order it at 50% off for next year.
Exactly.
While we're on this topic, why would, this is the other thing that so fascinates me, and this is how, so you and I, we've said this before, our worlds professionally have been in the marketing element in various capacities. It's such a fascinating concept to me, because Halloween candy, all the way up and on October 31st, it's one price. The next day on November 1st, it's 50% off, but it's still a Snickers bar. It's just wrapped in an orange wrapper. But the Snicker bars on the shelf, they're probably older than those Halloween candy bars. But for some reason, the orange wrapper makes it now eligible to be 50% off the very next day. But
When you open it up, it's the same Snicker bar. It tastes just as good as the one in the brown wrapper.
absolutely, all marketing, and it's a fascinating. I mean, we could probably spend days talking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So my big fail, one of them, mind you, clothing was a really interesting, because I never ordered clothes online, and that became an interesting thing in terms of finding the right fit from the right manufacturer and going through that process. But I cook a lot. I needed some dried parsley for a recipe that I wanted to try. And yes, I could have used fresh, but I wanted to have this on hand, because part of the issue was I didn't know it was gonna, it was like during the real lockdown where everything was closed, and you're waiting 25 hours to walk 2 feet in the grocery store because they had the whole thing barricaded. So I didn't want to deal with it. So I ordered this parsley. So I'm on the website Amazon, and I'm looking at all my options, and I'm thinking this is one of the very first times I ordered a food item. And I'm clicking on, I'm like, oh, this looks good. And now marketing, I'm falling for, I tend to try to buy organic stuff, not all the time, but that's just my slant is in that direction, right? So I'm looking at this parsley, and I see this organic parsley, and anything organic is usually slightly more expensive. So I expected that. And I'm like, well, this is interesting. And it seems a little expensive for parsley, but what the heck? So I ordered it. And so it's a 1 pound bag of dried parsley. Do you know how much parsley is in 1 pound of dried parsley? This thing, I mean, it's filled up to here still. And I think when I got it, it was filled up to here. So it says best if used before October 2021. So I'm out of date. I've had it that long. I'm out of date because who you
Who knew parsley had such a short shelf life?
right,
So,
right. Why can't it last 5 years?
right, but I mean, look at that. Look at that thing.
And then it says
That's high.
parsley flakes, highest quality. Now, mind you, then I'm thinking to myself, well, no wonder why it costs an arm and a leg, right? Because I'm getting the whole crop. And then it says United Kingdom grown. So this parsley is from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Came from Europe, from the United Kingdom. Why would I get parsley from the United Kingdom? I had no clue. This was my first fail, was this giant 1 pound bag of dried parsley flakes from the UK. And I'm still not. The question is, do I throw it away, or do I add it to food beyond its expiration date?
So I just have a couple questions. When you saw the price, did it raise an eyebrow? Because I'm assuming you paid a fair amount for such a large quantity. Or was it not that much of a differential?
So there wasn't that much. There was a. I thought the increase in price, it wasn't so significant that I thought, "What am I doing?" I just thought it was because it was an organic brand.
Okay, fair
So it
enough.
wasn't. It really wasn't like if a reg if an ounce of parsley is $1.99, this one would have been $4.99. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it wasn't huge, but what do you do with this?
I mean, at least with like, over ordering like toilet paper, you'll always use it.
Yeah.
I can make a little argument for using Q-tips. I don't know. Maybe there's a craft. Maybe I can start taking up crafting. But I mean, parsley's a stretch. Like I don't like. I'm trying to like. What are you gonna do with
What
that?
do you, I mean, I can only make so many meatballs. I mean, it's the only thing that I really know to put it in is like ground beef prepared dishes. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I use the fresh stuff in a salad. I'm not gonna throw that in there. So that was
Oh,
really, truly my big epic online fail. And there's been many since, like really a lot. Um, but that's sort of the one that comes to mind, and I still have an example of.
so I think we have another example. My son he had like shin splints. He's a basketball player and he's trying out for high school, the basketball team. So we decided to get him, it's called compression socks.
Mhm.
They're pretty expensive, but they're real tight by design. So my husband ordered, and in comes the box, and you take the box out, and there's one compression sock in there. My son has two legs. He's got two shins. What's he doing on? Who says one? Why is there only one in there? How is that going to help him?
Right. It's not.
It's not. The box said two. We looked at the order, it said two, but yet we only get one. Should he cut it in half? I mean, what are we going to do with that? And timing is of the essence. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Like, the delays, and I mean, we needed it. We needed it on a certain date. We needed two of them. We bought two. We got one. And now it's my problem. So do I have to send it back? Like, the whole drill with sending it back. And
Oh,
oh God, I remember something really funny about we ordered these like cat dishes. We have two cats. And one was shipped and it was broken. So my husband, instead of having to go through and send it back, he found the local pet store here. So he brought it back there. And the woman at the register was very accusatory and demeaning. And she said, "How do I know you didn't break this?
wow.
How do I know you didn't break this dish? I have no proof that it came broken from shipping."
Wow.
And my husband, oh, mm. Let's just say that the store has since closed. That might be karma. I don't know. They went out of business, but I'm sure he just unleashed a whole world of unhappiness on her
Oh yeah.
because
Up one side and right down the other.